What's going on, guys? Robert here from Rob is Tech, and today was the day Apple's WWDC keynote, the yearly keynote that gives us an actual inside look, a planned event from Apple that tells us what the new products are going to be. Mostly, it's going to be software, and we got a little bit of hardware today that was very interesting we'll talk about. But today, I just wanted to give you guys my opinions of what happened today at WWDC. If you're looking for an update video, or a wrap-up video, rather, you can get them all over YouTube. Tons of people have them. But I wanted to give you guys my thoughts, and I want to hear from you what your thoughts are on today's WWDC announcements. All right, so starting off, the first thing with OS X Mavericks. This was a very interesting move from Apple to go ahead and go away from the big cat name calling to go to a California themed for their OS X versions. And this first one was Mavericks. And with the new update, brought a pretty good handful of new and improved improvements and applications. Some of the most important ones being Finder that actually has tabs. That's something I've been looking forward to the most. Finally, a native way to have tabs in Finder. Apple pretty much just killed all those other companies that tried to do them externally, which I guess that's business, but I'm happy that it's finally there. They also added the ability to do tags, which I'm not really too much into. Maybe I'm just not organized, but I really don't use tags too much. But the biggest thing for me that I was really excited to see was better multi-display support. Apple has had a history of, having pretty good support with them, but you couldn't do much. You could connect an external display, but that was it. And as soon as Mountain Lion came with the full screen apps, or Lion rather, with the full screen apps, things started to get a little hairy. So it was really nice to see them update that with actual support where each actual display is independent from the other. You also have the ability to extend the dock to the other display and the menu bar as well. So that's been really nice, and I'm really looking forward to that. Besides that, they showed off some other kind of important things, I guess. If you use Notification Center a lot, you can now have a quick reply. The one thing I wish Apple would do that I hopefully maybe in OS X Mavericks, I don't know, but it's not in anything else, is to turn the Notification Center off. I hate Notification Center in Mac OS X, but I'm still living with it, unfortunately. But hey, at least they updated it a little bit. One of the biggest things I saw them do that was really good for their target audience, obviously Apple is really looking to target the average consumer, and that was Maps. I know Apple Maps got a lot of flack when it first came out, and it was pretty much well-deserved because it had a lot of hiccups, but one of the biggest things they added to OS X Mavericks was the ability to have maps built in. And not only that, but there's a really easy way to get directions and then send them directly to your iPhone. Now, I tweeted this when WWDC was going on, and I think it's really relevant. Even though as geeks, this really doesn't matter to us. We'd have Google Maps on the phone or even Apple Maps on the phone. Having someone who is an average consumer try to access maps can be a pain. My dad, for example, he goes all around the city of Los Angeles, and he always, uses a map quest. He'll print out or something, or Google Maps. Even my neighbor the other day was asking me how to print out a map. Having a Mac and then having an iPhone or an iOS device with maps built in is just seamless because they can go ahead and put in their directions, hopefully get the right directions, and then easily send that to the iPhone. It's really, really convenient for them, saves paper from a lot of people I know who still print maps, and overall for the average Apple consumer is going to be big. Again, not too big for geeks, but for the average Apple target audience customer, for their target customer, not their target audience, but I guess it is their target demographic. This is huge news, and for them, it's big. But again, for the geeks, it's okay. They also introduced iCloud Keychain, which I thought was a very interesting LastPass and 1Password alternative. If you don't know, Keychain has been the Mac password manager for a few years now. I believe as long as I can remember, it's been in there as the default encryption method of saving passwords and having an access to your stored passwords. And now Apple has officially integrated this into iCloud, which means that I could save my password on my Mac and be able to get it on my iPhone. iCloud Keychain also has the ability to generate random passwords such as LastPass and Remember That. So this might be a pretty nice LastPass and 1Password alternative. Not sure how powerful this is, but it is there and it's pretty cool to be seen. So that's iCloud Keychain. Apple also released some new MacBook Airs that are available today with better battery life. Don't really care about that, but hey, I'm throwing it out there if you're interested. And then, of course, one of the biggest and most highly anticipated launches of the year was iOS 7. This was being pumped by everyone and their mother, and Johnny Ive had a lot of expectations to live up to. And from my personal experience, I'll lay it to you guys straight, and I'll give it to you as I see it. Not going to try to sugarcoat it. I was a little taken back when I saw this. Just last night, the night before WWDC, 9to5Mac had someone who said they had claimed to see the newest version of iOS, and they had posted what the icons are going to look like, what it's going to be like. And I was actually hoping that Apple is not going to do that. I'm not at least at the current state, a huge fan of those applications. They kind of look a little, I don't know. They're flat. They're definitely flat, but I'm not sure if they're the ones I actually really want. Granted, of course, applications are going to be different. It's interesting to get something new. But again, I guess I still got to really see it in person. But right now, I'm still a little taken aback. I'm not sure if I really like those icons. But overall, iOS 7 is totally something different. For everyone who wanted Apple to innovate and wanted them to do something different, this is it. It's a totally new look. It's totally flat. Everyone at Apple that did something, I think, except for Tim Cook, I forgot who the guy was. Maybe I'll have his name somewhere on the screen, but he was poking fun at Scott Forstall all keynote long, saying, "Oh, how making fun that it was better for the environment. They no longer have the felt and the wood in Game Center." It was pretty funny, but yes, iOS 7 is very flat. There's also some nice features to iOS 7 that are really nice. One of the newest ones being, besides a totally new interface, is a smarter Siri now with built-in Twitter, Wikipedia, and Bing search results. Pretty interesting. That's a little stab at Google there. It's nice to have a little Siri intelligence added, and as well as new voices, which is kind of cool, but I don't know. We also got a smarter lock screen, which is nice. I think the iOS lock screen now in iOS 6 is very boring, and Apple has so much real estate to play with here, but they don't do anything with it. That's why a lot of people jailbreak. So I'm really interested to see if they show off more things that can be done with the lock screen. As of now, all I know is that this little slide to unlock thing is gone. It's just a regular little, it's like Texas to slide to unlock, which I guess is okay because how often do you really look at this little bar anyways? Does it really matter? You also have the ability to get to your notification center from the lock screen, as well as a little, I think they call it control center, where you can, it's like Android style switching off and on of Wi-Fi and airplane mode and all that fun stuff. It's available from the lock screen. I'd really like to see them integrate a little bit more of weather and stuff in the lock screen, but I guess since you have notification center, you can do that. So kind of interesting. Again, it's really hard to predict about what's going to happen or how I think it's going to be until I actually get to have my hands on it and play with it. And that'll be coming this fall. One of the things we expected to see today at WWDC, but the design was nothing that we thought, was the current generation Mac Pro. If you're talking innovative, this is definitely innovative and definitely different. People call it a trash can. People have called it at least a coffee maker. It's a very interesting design and a brand new look for a desktop that's supposed to be catered to the professional market. Now, what are my thoughts as a current Mac Pro owner? Well, the first thing is, I had nothing wrong with the cheese grater design. I like the desktop. I love being able to move and interchange different parts like hard drives, PCI expansion slots, graphics cards, all that fun stuff. And in the new Mac Pro, you can't even do that. I believe you can still change out the memory, but as far as hard drive goes, the flash memory is soldered to the motherboard, what it looks like as well. As far as that goes, there's also no PCI expansion, and your only I/O is limited to 6 Thunderbolt connections. Granted, Apple seems to really be hedging their bet on Thunderbolt, so it seems to be good that they're adopting it, and they give you plenty of ports, and especially since you can daisy chain. But until manufacturers really make all the tools you need available on Thunderbolt, what are you supposed to do with your extra PCI expansion cards that you really need in your daily production workflow, especially since this is catered to big production houses? So what are you supposed to do? The design, take it or leave it. How much do you actually look at your computer anyways, besides like a laptop? Chris Perlow made a good tweet, a comment a few hours ago, I believe, on Twitter, where he said, how many times have I looked at my Mac Pro since I got it? Maybe like 6 or 7, give or take a couple. It's really how much do you actually look at your desktop? And for some, it's a lot. For others, it's not so much. I could see where you can make the point that you don't look at it so much, but what is it, so what is, it care what it looks like? But still, if you're so limited on I/O, how are you supposed to get things done? Kind of disappoints me, and it kind of almost seems like a step in the wrong direction since you can't actually update all these things. Now, I know with the MacBook Pro Retina, things are started at the motherboard. You're not supposed to be able to get into it. On iMac, if you try to, want to change the hard drive, good luck getting the glass off. But a Mac Pro is supposed to be for the professional houses that really are supposed to be able to take advantage of the full system, have that full tower experience with Mac OS X natively running on it. And that is kind of sad to see that it's kind of been going to the wayside. But I really have to get my hands on it. Apple could, if they wanted to change the design a bit, tweaking it a little bit. It's not coming out till later this year, so we'll have to see what the final end-all to end-all looks like. And yes, if you're wondering, it does glow as well. You can see the I/O here in the picture. 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports that are available actually have the capacity of transferring 20 gigabytes per second, 2 gigabit Ethernet ports, as well as all your regular other I/O devices. Pretty interesting, and I'll have to see if I can get my hands on one at the Apple Store. Well, I'm going to go to the Apple Store. I'm not going to buy one for a couple grand, but I'm going to go to the Apple Store, see what it looks like. It's supposed to be really small. It's supposed to be nice, and I'll have to see. Are you planning to upgrade to a Mac Pro if you have a Mac Pro now and spend a couple grand on this big thing? It's supposed to also have, I will mention, like dual workstation GPUs, which should be cool. I mean, 12 cores. This thing's supposed to really be maxed out as far as performance-wise, but there's no really any way to expand on expansion slots. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So we'll have to see. Overall, WWDC was a lot of information. One of the biggest conferences I think Apple has held for the past few years. I've never seen a WWDC quite this big in information for a while. So this is really interesting. I want to know, what are your thoughts? Overall, new macOS 10, great. I'll be updating as soon as it comes out. iOS 7, I'm very happy to get my hands on it. I'm just, still a little hesitant on the design. I got to see it in person. It seems so different, but I guess it's a good thing. I need to be accepting to change. And the new Mac Pro, I'm probably not going to buy one. I'm pretty much not going to buy one, and I'll have to see how the developers and the people who are buying these machines react. What is it like not being able to expand your professional end desktop, which is probably going to cost a couple grand? Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts? Are you guys interested in picking up a new computer? Are you going to get one of the new MacBook Airs? What do you think of iOS 7? And of course, I know I missed all the little nitty-gritty stuff, but if you're looking for an update video, like I said, there are tons of recap videos on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave your comment down below. What did you think of today's WWDC keynote address and the new info? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.